In the shimmering, manufactured dreamscape of old Hollywood, few stars shone brighter or more purely than Loretta Young. She was the epitome of grace, beauty, and unwavering Catholic virtue, a woman who for decades embodied the innocent sweetheart, the devoted wife, the flawless mother, but behind that meticulously crafted facade lay a secret so profound, so scandalous, it threatened to unravel not just her career, but the very fabric of her carefully constructed life. And when the truth finally emerged, it shocked the entire world, revealing a story of forbidden love, desperate measures, and a deception that lasted over 50 years. This is the crazy, heartbreaking, and utterly Hollywood story of Loretta Young. Born Gretchen Young in 1913, Loretta's path to stardom began almost by accident. Her mother, a struggling actress at the time, brought her children to set, and soon enough, little Gretchen was a natural. By the time she was a teenager, she was a bona fide starlet, quickly adopting the name Loretta Young. I mean, what a perfect screen name to have. Loretta Young. It just fits so well, especially during this time period. What set Loretta apart wasn't just her stunning looks, but her carefully cultivated image. She was the quote-unquote Catholic girl next door, famous for her elegant fashion and her seamlessly impeccable morals. The studio system absolutely adored her. She was the ideal leading lady, promoting family virtues and traditional femininity, but in the strictest era of Hollywood, passion had a way of igniting. In 1935, Loretta Young was a rising star, just 22 years old, beautiful and ambitious. Her co-star in the adventure film Call of the Wild, the cult classic, everyone knows Call of the Wild. But yes, her co-star in Call of the Wild was none other than the king of Hollywood himself, Clark Gable. Anyone that is interested in movies and old movies know the name Clark Gable just by default. Gable was older than Loretta Young at this time, and he was also married to Rhea Langham, a socialite in the business. And it was already known that Clark Gable was a notorious womanizer throughout this time period. But despite their age difference and Gable's marital status, an intense affair began during the remote, isolated filming in the wilderness for Call of the Wild. It was a classic Hollywood cliche, two beautiful people forced together, sparks flying. We've seen it so many times with these younger female actresses throughout those old Hollywood time periods. I mean, even Audrey Hepburn was involved in a couple affairs with other co-stars throughout her career. It kind of just happened in that old Hollywood. I mean, it still happens now. It happens throughout any time period in Hollywood, these affairs that just happen based off of forced chemistry in movie roles. But unlike those other Hollywood cliche affairs, this one wasn't just a fling. Loretta, a devout Catholic, found herself deeply in love, and things took an utterly unexpected turn I don't think anyone would have thought of. Yes, Loretta Young became pregnant with Clark Gable's child. Now keep in mind, this was 1935. A single pregnant movie star, especially one like Loretta Young, would have been absolute career suicide. The scandal would have ended her. Not only was abortion illegal and dangerous, but Loretta's strong Catholic faith made it an unthinkable option. Clark Gable, terrified of the public fallout and the wrath of his powerful studio, MGM, wanted nothing to do with acknowledging the child. So, a plan was hatched, a plan born of desperation, fear, and the absolute need to maintain the pristine image of a Hollywood darling. Loretta would quote-unquote go on vacation. She traveled to somewhere in Europe, then returned to a secluded home in Venice, California. She wore voluminous clothing, hid from photographers, and endured her pregnancy in utter secrecy. When her baby girl was finally born on November 6th, 1935, Loretta didn't hold her. She couldn't. Here's where the deception becomes a masterclass in Hollywood maneuvering. After her daughter was born, Loretta placed her in an orphanage for a short time. Then, roughly about a year later, she adopted her own biological child. She announced to the world that she had adopted a sweet little orphan girl named Judy. Her story was that she felt a calling to help a child in need, perfectly aligning with her virtuous image. Judy grew up knowing Loretta Young as her mother, But the lie was multifaceted and deeply ingrained. To the public, Judy was adopted. To Loretta's inner circle, a handful of trusted individuals knew the truth, but they were sworn to silence. Can you imagine having to trust people with one of the biggest secrets in Hollywood history? I don't know who I could even trust to tell that information to. Now, with this secret, Judy never knew the identity of her biological father, and the deception even went deeper. As Judy grew, the truth became harder and harder to conceal, at least for anyone paying close attention. The resemblance between Judy and Clark Gable was uncanny. The broad smile, the intense eyes, and most tellingly, the prominent ears. A distinctive Gable family trait that Judy, of course, inherited. Loretta, in a bizarre and almost heartbreaking attempt to further conceal the truth, made Judy wear bonnets, wide-brimmed hats, or just having her hair styled to cover her ears completely. Imagine the psychological toll on a child constantly being told to hide a physical feature. Judy, although, began to notice other children at school would taunt her, calling her Gable's daughter. She ended up confronting her mother, Loretta, about this, but of course, Loretta denied it completely, insisting that Judy was adopted and that such rumors were cruel and unfounded. The lie was reinforced over and over again, while Clark Gable, meanwhile, never publicly acknowledged Judy, nor did he ever truly reach out to her in any meaningful way, leaving a gaping void in her life, not knowing who her biological father really was. The secret held for decades, Loretta Young continued her incredibly successful career, won an Academy Award, starred in a popular television show, and maintained her saintly image until her retirement. Judy Lewis ended up growing up, became an actress, and even started her own family. The questions, however, they just never go away. It wasn't until the 1990s, when Loretta Young was in her 80s by now, that she finally decided to reveal the truth 50 years later, and she thought, okay, now it's time. She dictated her autobiography, Loretta Young, An Extraordinary Life, and insisted that the full story of her daughter's parentage be included, but only to be published after her death. In 2000, shortly before her passing, a reporter broke the story early. Loretta Young, then 87, confirmed it. Judy Lewis was indeed the biological daughter of Loretta Young and Clark Gable. The revelation was met with a mix of shock, sadness, and surprisingly understanding. It brought into sharp focus the immense pressures placed on women in old Hollywood, the lengths that these stars went to protect their careers, and the enduring power of a secret. Not only did Loretta try to save her career, but she also tried to help Clark Gable in a way, but to think that Loretta did this not just for herself, but also for Clark, does really speak volumes. For Judy Lewis, the public confirmation was a bittersweet moment. She had known the truth in her heart for years, but to finally have her mother acknowledge it, even implicitly through her autobiography, brought a sense of closure. She harbored complicated feelings about her mother's lifelong deception, but also expressed understanding for the impossible situation that Loretta faced back in 1935. Loretta Young's story isn't just a tale of celebrity scandal, it's a testament to resilience, a critique of the unforgiving studio system, and a deeply, deeply human drama about love, loss, and the choices that we make under extreme duress. It reminds us that behind every polished Hollywood image, there often lies a tangled webs of secrets, compromises, and much more complicated truth, and we're still seeing that even in today's Hollywood. But what do you think about Loretta Young's choice? Was it an understandable act of self-preservation or a cruel deception that scarred her daughter for life? If you found this dive into an old Hollywood classic secret, please like this video, subscribe for more stories, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep exploring the shadows of the silver screen. Peace out.